Alors, comme j'ai dit tantôt, on va enregistrer cette session. Thank you for attending this panel this afternoon. The panel features 3 presenters and is about student support available at the Department of Communications and at the University of Ottawa, more broadly speaking. Alors, ce panel est à propos de la soutien qui est disponible aux étudiants et étudiantes au département de communication et à l'Université d'Ottawa à plus large. Our first presenter, notre première présentatrice, is Eliza Sylvia. Alors, c'est Eliza Sylvia qui va commencer.
Fantastic. I will just share my screen. Is it visible, PowerPoint? Fantastic. All right. Thank you, Jen, for that great introduction. Hello, everyone, and thank you for attending this session on student success. My name is Eliza, and for those of you who don't know me, I am the VP Academic for the Communication Graduate Student Association here at the University of Ottawa, but I wear many hats. For now, I'm going to take all of those off, and I'm going to put on my Arts Bistro hostess apron. So you're probably all wondering, what is the Arts Bistro? The Arts Bistro is a virtual center for all students in the Faculty of Arts. Within the Bistro, there are many services available for students, including a help desk that has live and asynchronous options, electronic access to Dr. Jennifer Lennox-Terrian, our Vice Dean of Students, access to mental health supports, and the Students' Rights Center, a list of upcoming and ongoing activities, BIPOC student resources, and what I'm here to talk about with you today, the Graduate Writing Cafe. The Bistro is truly a place where students can drop in and easily find resources that are geared towards making their time at in the Faculty of Arts an enjoyable and a successful one. Part of being a student, especially in graduate studies, is inevitably writing a proposal, working on an article for publication, or a final project for a course, and having deadlines that you have to meet. Staying motivated and being able to manage your time comes naturally to very few of us fortunate students. For the rest of us, however, it takes a lot of work. That challenge has only been magnified with the COVID-19 pandemic, where we have had to transform not only our homes into offices, but also our daily routines and expectations. Working from home is hard, and we get that, which is why the Arts Bistro Writing Cafe was created. In the summer of 2020, some of the graduate students were having trouble staying connected and feeling engaged with their work. Thus was born the first version of the Writing Cafe. A licensed Zoom account was purchased, and it was off to the races. This group of students took turns hosting power hours, blocks of time each day where everybody in the Zoom room would turn on their cameras, mute their microphones, and get to work on accomplishing their goal for the time block. It worked well, as some of them completed their comprehensive exams, while others prepared lectures or worked on proposals, side projects, or dissertations. Word of this initiative caught wind, and it was decided that it should carry on in a more formal fashion, the Writing Cafe. The version that is offered through the Arts Bistro is very similar to these initial power hours. There are 3 graduate students who take turns hosting 1.5-hour blocks a week. For 8 weeks, these students will run a series of co-working sessions, each with their own theme, to help other students in the faculty reach their academic goals while working on their own work. But let's take a pause there and look at the concept of co-working and why we're promoting it. Co-working is a fairly recent trend that has gained popularity and traction in business, particularly with independent contractors and people in jobs that require a lot of travel. With the creation and continual improvements with personal digital technologies like laptops and smartphones, it has become very easy to work from anywhere, home, a coffee shop, or a designated co-working space where you can pay money to work independently, surrounded by others who are also working independently. To quote the co-working wiki, the idea is simple, that independent professionals and those with workplace flexibility work better together than they do alone. Co-working spaces are built around the idea of community building and sustainability. Co-working spaces agree to uphold the values set forth by those who developed the concept in the first place: collaboration, community, sustainability, openness, and accessibility. Now, this definition is referring largely to the physical spaces that people were renting out, pre-pandemic, of course, but the same concept applies to online co-work spaces. Spinuzzi, in their 2012 article, described co-working as an activity rather than a physical space. They refer to co-working as a collaborative activity that occurs within networks to achieve an outcome or a goal. This certainly applies to the Arts Bistro Grad Writing Cafe. So what are the benefits? According to Spinuzzi, when people tried to work from home or from coffee shops, they were unhappy with these workspaces because it was easy to get distracted, and they struggled with self-motivation and feelings of isolation. Some of the participants in that study noticed that when they worked at home, they would get sidetracked doing household chores, they wouldn't get out of their pajamas, and they started to feel depressed because they weren't speaking to anyone all day. Others said that when they worked at coffee shops, they felt obligated to buy something and didn't end up spending much time there because, quote, it's not really conducive as a workspace because people are talking. People don't think of it as a workspace. Co-working as a physical space or an activity provides a level of accountability. When you are part of a group, or a Zoom room in our case, for a specific reason, and others are aware of that purpose, it holds you accountable to not get distracted and make much progress towards your goal as you can. There's also a level of flexibility in co-working. With physical workspaces, it allows entrepreneurs and business owners the flexibility to work on their own schedule. Our co-working space is a little more regimented, but we're understanding that as students that what you plan to work on is not necessarily what needs to be done at that moment in time. Having a set time to sit and be held accountable for your work, no matter what it is, by people who understand that academia requires flexibility is a huge benefit to co-working. Interaction, now more than ever, is a huge contributor to success when working on individual projects. We start all of our sessions with a quick goal-setting conversation to give everybody a chance to discuss their work for that time block. There's a comfort in knowing that you're not alone. You may not all be in the same boat, but you're surrounded by people who are weathering the same storm, whether that be a pandemic, a specific academic struggle, or simply grad school itself. In that same vein, the Writing Cafe gives students an opportunity to ask for opinions, suggestions, and feedback. The projects that we are working on can sometimes be monstrous in size, and we may not get frequent feedback from others we are working with or who we're completing the work for. The Writing Cafe presents the opportunity to ask questions and get feedback in real time when you're in the zone and can make immediate notes or changes. And finally, you will develop a level of trust and a bond with your group of coworkers. Because we present an 8-week series format, you get the chance to get to know other students in the department and the faculty and develop relationships that you may not otherwise have had the opportunity to create. If any of this sounds like something you're currently missing this semester and would like to join us for any of our 8-week series, here's where you can find us. We'll be on Zoom in the Arts Bistro personal Zoom room 3 days a week. Mondays and Wednesdays from 1:30 to 3 p.m. and Fridays from 9:30 to 11 a.m. Working with Jennifer Dumoulin or myself, on Mondays and Wednesdays, you can work on finishing an article or an upcoming assignment. On Fridays, you can work with Diane to get your proposal started, filled out, or finished. This can be any type of proposal if you're not currently in the proposal stage for a master's or a PhD thesis. All of this information will be available via the chat box during this session, the Arts Bistro website, and it will be included in a follow-up email to be sent after the conference has concluded. We truly hope to see you at one of our writing blocks. Thank you.
Merci, Eliza. Thank you, Eliza, for your presentation about the Arts Bistro. Est-ce qu'il y a des questions à poser à haute voix ou dans le chat? Are there any questions for Eliza about the Arts Bistro and in particular the Grad Students Writing Cafe in the chat, or that you would like to ask out loud? Okay, it doesn't look like there are any questions at the moment, but Eliza will be online if you do think of some a little bit later on. Alors, il n'y a pas de questions pour le moment, mais si vous vous en pensez à plus tard, vous pouvez les poser. Our next presenter is Ariane Gauthier. Notre prochain présentateur est Ariane Gauthier.
Okay, can we see my screen?